What if the healthier sweetener you trust isn't actually helping your body at all? What if cutting sugar didn't cut the consequences, only change their shape? And what if the real issue isn't calories, but the way sweetness rewires your habits? In this video, we're breaking down the truth about sugar substitutes, what science actually says in 2025, what's proven, what's still being debated, and whether these zero-calorie sweeteners are truly healthy or just cleverly marketed compromises. Sugar substitutes are everywhere now. They're in diet sodas, protein bars, zero-sugar desserts, flavored waters, chewing gum, sauces, and even foods that don't taste sweet at first bite. Over the last 2 decades, they've gone from niche diet tools to everyday ingredients in the modern food system, quietly woven into our daily routines. The promise has always been simple. Enjoy sweetness without sugar, avoid calories, protect your blood sugar, and keep your health on track. It sounds like a perfect deal, almost too good to question. But biology rarely works in perfect deals, especially when taste, hormones, and habits are involved. One of the most important things to understand is that sugar substitutes were never created to improve human health. They were designed to replace sugar's taste while keeping products profitable, shelf-stable, and appealing in an increasingly health-conscious market. Regulatory agencies approve them based on safety thresholds, not on whether they optimize metabolism, appetite control, or long-term well-being. That distinction matters more than most people realize, because approved does not automatically mean ideal. It simply means not proven harmful at certain levels. In 2025, most approved non-sugar sweeteners are still considered safe within defined intake limits. That means substances like aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, ACE, and stevia extracts are not expected to cause toxic harm when consumed below their acceptable daily intake levels. This is why they remain legal and widely used across the world, appearing in thousands of products. But safety does not automatically mean beneficial. A substance can be non-toxic and still interfere with the body's natural regulatory systems over time, especially when consumed daily and in combination with other ultra-processed foods. This is where the real debate begins. Sugar substitutes don't just replace sugar chemically. They replace a biological signal that humans evolved to trust. Sweetness is not neutral to the human body. It evolved as a marker of energy, carbohydrates, and survival during times when sweet foods were rare. When your tongue detects sweetness, your brain prepares for incoming calories. Hormones shift, insulin pathways activate, and appetite systems begin to respond. When sweetness arrives without energy, that prediction system doesn't always reset cleanly, creating confusion rather than clarity. This helps explain why sugar substitutes have not consistently delivered the weight loss results people expected. For years, diet drinks and zero-sugar products were marketed as effortless solutions to obesity and metabolic disease. Yet, population-level data never showed dramatic, lasting success from these swaps alone. Many people lost weight temporarily, only to regain it later. This is one reason the World Health Organization advised against using non-sugar sweeteners as a long-term strategy for weight control. Their conclusion wasn't that sweeteners are dangerous, it was that they don't reliably produce the health outcomes people assume they will. Part of the reason is behavioral, not chemical. When people consume sweetness without calories, many subconsciously compensate later in the day or week. They eat more, crave sweet foods more often, or mentally justify extra indulgences because they feel they've already saved calories. The brain isn't fooled by math. It operates on expectations, predictions, and learned reward patterns. Sugar substitutes can keep those expectations permanently switched on, even when the body doesn't receive the energy it anticipated. Aspartame is one of the most misunderstood examples in this entire discussion. It is among the most studied food additives in history, yet it continues to generate fear and confusion. In recent years, it attracted renewed attention when one research body classified it as possibly carcinogenic, while another expert committee reaffirmed that normal consumption remains within safe limits. These two positions weren't contradictory, but they were framed that way online. One assessed theoretical hazard, while the other evaluated real-world risk. The result was confusion, fear, and headlines that traveled faster than nuance or context. As of 2025, regulatory agencies still consider aspartame safe within recommended intake levels. However, newer studies have begun exploring how it may influence insulin signaling and inflammatory pathways, particularly in animal models and controlled experimental settings. These findings don't prove human harm, but they do reinforce an emerging theme in nutrition science. Constant exposure matters more than occasional use. Using aspartame occasionally to reduce sugar intake is very different from consuming large amounts daily as a lifestyle habit embedded into every drink and snack. Sucralose tells a similar story. It's widely used, intensely sweet, and completely calorie-free, making it attractive for zero products. Research continues to investigate how it may affect glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity in certain contexts. Some studies suggest that in specific populations, sucralose may alter metabolic responses even without raising blood sugar directly. This doesn't mean sucralose causes diabetes, but it challenges the oversimplified idea that 0 calories equals 0 biological impact. Then there's erythritol, which experienced one of the fastest reputation shifts in recent nutrition history. Once celebrated as the ideal sugar alternative for keto and diabetic diets, erythritol is now under active scientific scrutiny. Research has found associations between higher erythritol levels in the blood and increased cardiovascular risk markers, particularly in individuals already at higher risk. These findings are not definitive proof of harm, but they are strong enough to justify caution, especially for heavy daily users. This is an important distinction to understand clearly. Observational associations do not equal causation, and no serious scientist claims otherwise. But when repeated patterns appear in well-designed studies, they raise legitimate questions that can't be ignored. In 2025, erythritol remains approved and widely used, but it is no longer considered metabolically invisible. Natural sweeteners like stevia and monk fruit often feel safer because of their origin, but natural does not mean neutral. Once extracted, purified, and concentrated, these compounds still interact with taste receptors, gut microbes, and appetite signaling in the body. For many people, they can be useful tools to reduce sugar intake when used sparingly. Perhaps the most overlooked issue in this entire debate is taste conditioning. Sugar substitutes may reduce sugar, but they often preserve extreme sweetness at every meal and snack. When everything tastes sweet, the brain adapts quickly. Unsweetened foods begin to taste dull or unpleasant, making dietary change harder rather than easier. This is why some people feel stuck despite cutting sugar. They removed one ingredient but kept the same sensory pattern and reward loop. The body doesn't reset because the signal never stopped. Sometimes the most powerful health shift isn't finding the perfect substitute. It's gradually reducing sweetness overall. Certain groups should be more cautious than others. People with PKU must avoid aspartame entirely, as it poses a clear medical risk. Individuals with sensitive digestion often struggle with sugar alcohols. People with diabetes may benefit from sweeteners in moderation, but responses vary widely and personalization matters more than labels. So where does this leave us in 2025? Sugar substitutes are not villains, but they are not heroes either. They are tools useful in some situations, counterproductive in others. They can help reduce sugar intake, but they cannot replace healthy eating patterns, adequate sleep, stress management, or whole foods. And they cannot bypass biology forever. The real danger was never a molecule. It was the belief that we could hack sweetness without consequences. Before you cut sugar or swap it for something zero, remember this. The real question isn't what's sweet, it's what's actually serving your health. If this video helped you see sugar substitutes more clearly, don't forget to like and subscribe for smarter, science-backed breakdowns every week.